You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. Last time we were here, Melik, I talked about how it was Republican Party. It was the party. It was the party when it came to how they wanted voter suppression. And you were just sort of adamant about, no, that wasn't the case in terms of, in terms of where they are. But we are now getting more information from the hard drives of Thomas Hofeller. He, of course, the Republican who died, who was the one who was their chief guy when it comes to gerrymandering all across this country. And first of all, we only know about his hard drive because his estranged daughter got a hold of the computer and found these files. Now they are being used in these court cases. We saw this ruling in the North Carolina courts, nearly 400 pages where it broke it down. And now we know from his own records how he was factoring race into how these districts were being drawn. And I kept telling you that this is a party-wide deal. You kept saying, no, no, no. But it's amazing how state party after state party after state party and national Republicans were hiring him to draw their maps. It is clear that it is Republican Party, they're playing by the Republican Party to not only use race to draw these gerrymandered districts, but also it was by design to suppress the vote. It's not even in question now because it wasn't like it was one state. We're talking about state after state after state after state after state. So how can you still deny that it's the Republican Party's goal to have voter suppression?
Well, I don't think that. I mean, we're talking about what was on someone's hard drive.
No, not someone. The guy who...
I'm not familiar with him, so I really can't.
Hold up. You're not familiar with Tom Hofeller?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Are you not familiar with the census case when the question was asked about citizenship? Mm-hmm. He was the one who told the Trump administration to put that on. We know that because of the hard drive.
Yeah,
Are you not familiar with the cases dealing with political gerrymandering?
Which one?
That's the point.
You know what I'm saying? But you mean the Maryland one with the Democrats? Or?
I'm talking about the one with North Carolina and Wisconsin and Texas and Florida. I mean, I can keep going. This is the guy. This is the guy who got cancer and said, until my last dying breath, we're going to gerrymander as many of these districts as possible. The Republican apparatus put him on the payroll, and right now they're fighting in court to keep his hard drives secret by saying it was work product.
Well, I think we just saw it. Wasn't it in the Maryland case, where the Maryland gerrymandering case, where the Democrats actually withdrew the map? And I think the Supreme Court...
And the Maryland case, actually, the Supreme Court what?
Didn't the Supreme Court in that, they kind of tossed it back or to the lower court?
No, actually what the Supreme Court ruled is Supreme Court ruled that they could not determine political gerrymandering. Now, in the Maryland case, there was one congressional district. With Republicans, it's the entire state.
Okay. Well, that's one congressional district.
No. Let me paint the picture for you, because obviously you think it's the same. There's a difference between a single congressional district
gerrymandering
and every single congressional district, state Senate district. Republicans gerrymandered the entire state. Your boys in North Carolina even tried to strip the Supreme Court of their power, which is the highest court in the land, in the North Carolina, and give it to a lower court, a court below them. So y'all take it to a whole new level. So again, if state after state after state hired this guy, doesn't that prove that this is the Republican Party's focus nationally?
Well, no, it doesn't.
Okay, all right.
Well, it just doesn't, and I'm not going to agree with you on that. As far as this guy, I mean, if I were more familiar with him, maybe I would be able to have a better conversation on it.
Okay, you might want to look.
No, I don't. I still don't.
You might want to look him up. Hofeller.
I will do that.
You might want to do that because trust me, this is the guy who, again, Republicans nationwide hired him, Kelly, to draw these districts. And they have evidence on his own hard drives how he was parsing districts based upon racial data.
To Malik's point, though, wrong is wrong. If Maryland is, like no one's disputing that what happened in Maryland is wrong. What we are establishing is an MO of the Republican Party to gerrymander entire states.
Right, like the whole
the
state.
The entire state. And the difference between that, Melik, is that the Democrats don't have that MO. Not established.
You can't dispute that.
It's not established.
You can try,
The Democrats
but you can't
have
dispute that.
There isn't. I don't think there's a lot of evidence of the Democrats doing what Republicans are doing. But I don't think that.
Well,
I
that's
think
the
that,
point of this conversation.
I'm sorry. That's what.
But I think part of what we were talking about last week, and even a follow-up to this week, whether this is something that's sanctioned. It's sanctioned.
Oh no, it's sanctioned. Hold up.
And
Here's why.
Well, people in the Republican Party hired him to do certain things, but it doesn't mean that that's.
Why do you think that the Republican Party is an entity on its own without people? People make up the Republican Party.
Right. But just because, for instance, we can just throw out something like, to say that, there are Democrats who support abortion. And this is something that the Democrats support, like their evidence to support that, Democrats actually do support like killing babies or something. I mean, that's not the position of the Democratic Party is not to kill babies, but that's a consequence of what.
But Melik, we have a guy who was hired in Massachusetts, Mississippi, Alabama, Virginia, North Carolina, state after state after state. So again, I'm just trying to understand what the hell are you talking about? This is the guy who also was but one who split North Carolina A&T in half to ensure a Democrat wouldn't win. Split a black college in half.
North Carolina.
So at A&T, you can be on one side of the street and you in one congressional district, and then the other one.
That I remember.
This is the guy who actually did it.
Yeah, well,
and it was all by design to dilute black voting power.
Well, I knew about the case. I didn't know that's.
This is the guy. This is the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that. You can't fault me for what I didn't know.
I'm just saying.
But I definitely remember that case, though.
Yeah, this is the guy. And also, you keep saying how a Republican hired him. Yeah, but you have Republican organizations who want to keep his file secret.
Well, I would imagine so. Again, we're getting back to the whole hypocrisy argument. No one's going to want any information that comes out publicly that paints them in a bad light. I don't think that's. It shouldn't be that much of a surprise that that's something that the Republican people want to hide. Whatever information he has on his hard drive, that doesn't surprise me.
Okay.
It just doesn't.
Gotcha.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
All right, folks, you heard me talk a lot about marijuanastock.org. Why? Because I want to keep you informed of investment opportunities that make sense. We've all watched the growth of the cannabis industry. A recent report by New Frontier Data estimates the global cannabis market at more than $340 billion. Of course, marijuana legalization is sweeping the country state by state. We know that marijuana has a good cousin, the hemp plant, with a much higher concentration of CBD. That means hemp gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the U.S. and heavily regulated by the DEA. However, the 2018 Farm Bill recently passed in Congress, making it legal to grow hemp CBD in the U.S. and creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. They need land to grow all of the plants. Folks, this is simple. It's an incredible investment opportunity. And that's where our good friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. They are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. Now, what they've done for the folks at Roland Martin Unfiltered is allow for you to make a minimum investment of $200. The initial investment was $500. You can invest this in the crowdfunding campaign. That's right, $200 up to $10,000. Now, again, all you got to do is go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org to get in the game, and get in the game now.
Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered.